welcome back to episode 35, where we're going to look at some more nostalgia. And in today's show, we're looking at a piece of audio history, I think. It's the Shure SR101, which was Shure's rather nice live PA mixer. And I think this one dates back to about 74. For its time, you know, we think things were pretty crude in the 1970s and we didn't have too many facilities. But this mixer's actually quite pioneering in a way, because although it's mono, I hadn't actually thought of stereo for live work, but we've got a mono mixer, but it's got 8 channels, a couple of auxiliaries. It's got an inbuilt reverb with a separate send on each channel. 2-band EQ, proper gains on each channel, and rather nicely it's got a sort of feedback filter in. We've actually got 4 buttons here that are patched onto the output, and the 4 buttons have got 4 specific frequencies and they notch them out. I'm not quite sure how that works in terms of why it would be those frequencies. I mean, they're labelled 130, 800, 2K and 5K. Slightly strange choices, but must be a point. Nice big chunky VU meter, 8 faders, master. It also does have monitoring. You can send the monitor circuit on the back a signal of either the mix, or you can send it a pre from every source, which is quite neat. So it can be switched sort of pre or post all of the faders. So you can't do it individually like we can on a modern desk, but you can do it globally. Usual things like headphone output. Now, one of the other nice things, Shure kit of the time, I mean, their most popular mixer back then was a 4-knob, 4-microphone mixer about so big. And you could stack those up and join them together. So it does actually have a loop feature. So you could take another one of these and loop it into it. So 8 on this one, 8 on another one, the 2 outputs get combined, and you've got a 16 input mixer, which is quite a neat feature. There's a facility to turn the reverb off globally, so at the end of the song you just bash a button and it goes off. The only other real feature it's got is an on-off switch for each channel, so it's fairly basic. But on the output it has the mono line output, but it's also got a mono mic level output. Kit of that era would often be plugged into other bits of kit that didn't have line inputs. So having a microphone level output was quite useful. Now, in a lot of equipment, that microphone level output is just a padded down line output. So from the noise perspective, you've then got to boost that up again with the next piece of kit. So noise figures wise, that was always a bit of a compromise. But on here, the actual output is via a transformer. So that you can have line level and or mic level with the quality that the unit can get. And I have to say, it was pretty good. This one needs a bit of care and attention, I think, to get it back to perfect order. There's an awful lot of crackly pots. I've lost the knobs on some, I note, and it does have a slight snag, as in when I pushed in the IEC connector, because this is the UK spec version. The American one had a captive mains lead. The UK version had a conventional kettle style IEC connector, and it looked a little bit wobbly, so I prodded it and it disappeared inside the box this morning, so I can't get it going. But for servicing it's quite neat, because you undo a few screws and there's a hinge that runs along the back here, and when you hinge up the front panel you can get to all the inside, so to get this going again isn't going to be too much of a chore. In honesty, I doubt very much if I'm going to actually spend any time to do this, because cosmetically it's got lots of sort of 50-year-old sort of tape marks. It's got a little tiny bit of rust on it. Underneath, where it was in a panel, it's pretty clean. But realistically, it's an interesting piece of nostalgia rather than something that I'm going to want to use. But it does prove that PA systems of the early 70s were not as crude as we perhaps think they were. For the time, inbuilt reverb, yeah, it's a spring reverb, obviously. They hadn't invented the electronic ones. But the spring reverb, a little bit of monitor facility, and a little built-in gooseneck on the top so you can see what all the knobs do. It's a neat piece of kit, isn't it? So there we go. The SR101, Sound Reinforcement 101. And a rather neat little rack mount mixer dating back to the early 70s. Hope that was interesting. See you on the next one. Look after yourselves. Take care.